We know that making playoffs is an achievement, but we see that as a minimum expectation. So what we need to do is continue to provide players to build a squad that's going to be competing every year for MLS Cup.
The itinerary is essentially, I wanted to come here. There's a conference in Lisbon, but anytime I'm going to a conference, I want to try and catch as many games as I can. So decided to come to Poland beforehand. For me, it was important to see it, to understand the level. There's been quite a few players who have come from Poland to the MLS and done really well. And so we just wanted to get a better sense for the market in Poland.
I've done a game in Portugal, travelled then to Spain and done 4 games in Spain. On that one day I had 2 games in one day, which is also what we try to do. We try to maximise our opportunities when we travel, because it's not often that we get to travel as far as Europe to do these games. So when we do that, we try to maximise all the games that we see. Yeah, the purpose of a scout team and our job as a department is to provide players to the club and to the coaching staff to maximise our opportunities to be successful. You know, our end goal is to win MLS Cup. That's what we set out to do every season. It's a department that is obviously led by Jonathan Spector, but above Jonathan we have Carlos, who gives us clear direction on where we need to go.
So in order to become a scout, I think generally you have to have some type of experience within soccer previously. So my pathway was from playing. There's different paths that I think you can take, but obviously having a good knowledge of soccer is going to be really important, whether you play it at a high level or not.
Yeah, I was brought into scouting briefly when I was a kid. My dad did a lot of scouting for a lower league team in England, and when I wasn't playing football myself, I'd go with my dad. I'd watch these players, have a look over his shoulder when he was writing these really basic scouting reports. But that was my first, time really knowing about scouting. A lot of our trips are targeted, so we have targeted scouting and exploratory scouting, but when we do a lot of the live scouting, it's always normally to go and see a player, but we also have that exploratory aspect as well, where we can look at 22 players on the pitch and some that we've never seen before. An example is I went on a targeted trip to watch a player and meet with him, and in that same game, another player was playing against the player I went to see, and we ended up signing him as well.
It's a group of guys, group of individuals that we have doing some video scouting. We also lean heavily into analytics, which a lot of clubs are doing these days. It's been, I guess, more popular in other sports, but it seems like soccer is starting to really develop in the analytics space.
We look at the players subjectively and objectively. That's when Arjun comes in with his data, who does a terrific job on figuring out what these players are like statistically, how they fit into the style of play that we're looking for, and how they might translate well to the MLS.
So the 3 main ways that I'm involved with the scouting department are in player identification, player evaluation, and then finally in making sure that these players are good value for money. Something else that works well for us here at Atlanta United is the relationship between our analytics staff and the scouts. Our scouting department is extremely open to data. Without that relationship, I don't think maybe data would be as big of a part of our recruitment process as it is. The main benefits being our ability to de-risk our investments and narrow down our player pool. We're looking at dozens of leagues and hundreds of players across the world, so using our player profiles and analytics to help narrow that pool helps save the scout times and our whole department time as well. Eventually, all we're trying to do is reach our end goal of winning championships for this club.
I personally am really excited for the future of the league, the way it's going. I think there's a lot of excitement around, obviously Copa America is coming, the World Cup. certainly U.S. Soccer building their headquarters in Atlanta, there's just so much excitement surrounding soccer in the United States and in Atlanta. So I think there's just going to be a lot of growth, a lot of opportunities. The league is continually expanding, getting better, it's improving. So it's just a really fun and exciting time to be part of soccer in this country.